So today I'm doing my March TBR, which are all the books that I plan on reading during the month of March, as well as a TBR for a readathon that I'm doing this month. So stick around to see what I'm going to be up to. Hey friends, Roger here, and welcome to my channel, Rogers Reads. So I had my March TBR list all set, all planned out. I was ready to do the video, and then this read-along came to my attention called the Backlist Readathon, where for a week you're encouraged to pick up some of the books off of your TBR shelf and get them read, as it were. So this is something that I'm trying to do, chisel away slowly at my TBR, so I thought it would be a fun readathon to do. So I have my regular March TBR, and then I added, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books? Yeah, 5 books for the readathon. So first off, let me start with my non-readathon books. So the first book that I'm going to read, and I don't have a copy, I have it in an ebook format, is called The House in the Cerulean Sea, and that's written by T.J. Klune. Now, I'm a huge fan of T.J. Klune's writing. I've read quite a few of his books, including Bear, Otter, and the Kid, Wolf Song, and many others. So I was really excited to get an arc of this book. So this follows a fellow named Linus who is unexpectedly summoned to an island orphanage where there are 6 children who are considered dangerous. And I guess it is up to him to determine whether or not they're likely to bring about the end of days. And I do believe that the island has several other secrets as well. So I'm going into this pretty well blind, that's all I know, and that's the way I want it to be, so I'm looking forward to reading it. So the next book that I'm going to be reading in March, and I've already read it actually, it's called The Murder at Pirates Cove, written by Josh Lanyon. This is another arc that I received, and I actually read it in one day, yesterday in fact. So I'll be talking about it more in an upcoming video. So this is a cozy mystery that follows a young screenwriter who has inherited his great-aunt's bookstore and kind of a mansion, although it's kind of run down. So he's trying to get the bookstore back in order. So one night he's walking back from eating out at a local restaurant. He notices a light in the bookstore. When he goes to investigate, he finds a dead body on the bookstore floor. And it just so happens that the dead person is a man that he was arguing with hours earlier in his store. So he then becomes the prime witness. So yeah, I don't want to go into too much more detail. This is a TBR, not a wrap-up. But let me just say I really enjoyed the book, and I'll be talking about it more later. So the next book that I plan on reading is entitled Of Curses and Kisses. And this is written by Sanjay Menon. This is actually on my anticipated books of 2020 list. And this is a modern day retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and follows Princess Jaya Rail and her nemesis, his name is Gray Emerson. So supposedly Gray did something to really piss her off. So she concocted this plan of making him fall in love with her and then breaking his heart. Now, I don't believe that she knows that he also suffers from a curse. And I imagine that all sorts of complications ensue. So, and I do love retellings, especially modern day retellings. So I'm looking forward to this. Yeah, and actually this is a library book, so I'm going to have to get to it pretty quickly. So next up is The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper. And this is a book that I just recently received in the mail. And in keeping with my goal of reading books as they come in, or try to do that as well. And plus that kind of cuts down on the impulsive book buying if I know that I have to read them right away. So anyway, The Gravity of Us. So this follows a 17-year-old boy named Kel Lewis. So his father is a pilot who's been selected by NASA for a highly publicized mission to Mars. So amidst all the chaos, Kel meets a boy named Leon who's also involved, or whose family is also involved with the mission. But then Kel uncovers some secrets that neither of their families are aware of, and he has to decide whether to come clean and risk hurting all the people he loves. And that's really all I know about it. The synopsis is pretty vague, which is a good thing because I don't want to know too much going in it. And of course, sparks fly between Kelvin and Leon, at least from what I understand, and that complicates matters as well. So The Gravity of Us. I actually had pre-ordered this and I just got it a few weeks back, so I need to get on it. So the next couple of books are actually Book of the Month Club selections that I already chosen, but I have not yet received in the mail. They're on their way now, hopefully. So the first is The Two Lives of Lydia Bird, and I don't recall the author, but I will make sure I put it up above. So this follows a young woman named Lydia who's been in love with her boyfriend for over a decade, her boyfriend Freddie. And then on her 28th birthday, Freddie dies in an automobile accident. So Lydia is grief-stricken. But then, and I don't know what it is exactly, but something weird happens which gives Lydia another chance with Freddie. That is to say, another, I think, parallel life in which none of the events of the past few months has happened. So Lydia, I believe, is going back and forth between these two lives, but it does begin to take a toll on her, and at some point she has to make an impossible decision. So this was another book that was on my highly anticipated books since I first heard about it. So, yeah, I'm excited to be getting that one in the mail. And the next one is Dear Edward. So this follows a 12-year-old boy named Edward who, along with his parents and brother, boarded an airline flight. Well, tragically, the plane crashes, and everyone on board, except for Edward, dies. So I believe we then follow Edward in the aftermath of the tragedy as he tries to figure out his place in the world and put his life back together. And then supposedly he makes some sort of unexpected discovery. So I've been hearing a lot about this book, and from what I've read of it, it's received some high praise. So when I saw it offered as a Book of the Month Club selection, I jumped right on it. So it's another one I hope to get to this month. So the next book I'm going to be reading, and I'm actually almost finished with it, is entitled The Other People by C.J. Tudor. And so far I'm really loving it. It's about a man who was driving home one day and he sees a car in front of him and he could swear that it was his little girl in the back window. And actually, in fact, he's positive it was. He's like, what? So he phones his house and a police detective answers the phone and says, it's about your wife and daughter. So the rest of the book is this man, Gabe his name is, hunting for his daughter, who he is certain is alive, who has been kidnapped. But it's hard to get anybody to help him because the police claim that she was murdered along with his wife on that day. And that's all I'm going to say about that because, again, this is a TBR, not a wrap-up, and I'll be talking about this probably on an upcoming Thriller Thursday video. But yeah, I highly recommend it if you like a good thriller. At least I'm loving it thus far. I only got, I think, like 2 hours left. I'm listening to it on Audible. So next up is Deathless Divided by Justina Ireland. So this is the sequel to Dread Nation that I read and I absolutely adored. This is an alternate historical fiction novel that takes place around the Civil War era, I do believe. And we're in the midst of a zombie apocalypse. And I talked about the first book on this channel, so I'm not going to go into too much detail here. So in this book, there are armies of young women whose goal it is to take down the zombies. Or in this world, they're referred to as shamblers rather than zombies. So this is part 2 of that book. So I'm looking forward to it because I really love the first one, as I mentioned. So if you like zombie books and you like historical fiction books, then you might want to check out this one, or at least read the first one, Dread Nation. This one is Deathless Divided. And I believe it is out now, or it's going to be coming out this month. So now I move on to the Readathon TBRs. As I mentioned, there are 5 books, and these are all books that have been on my backlist for a while. Now technically, backlist means an author's catalog of books prior to their last novel. But in booktube lingo, backlist is pretty much anything that's on your TBR, that's been on your shelves for a while, that you've been wanting to read. So this readathon also comes with a few prompts. So I chose books according to the prompts. So the first prompt is, read the shortest backlist title on your shelf. And for that one, that was a book entitled Ghost by Jason Reynolds. So this follows a boy named Charlie Cranshaw, I do believe, who also goes by the name of Ghost, and he supposedly can run really fast, but he's never been in a race or he's not on track, but he does manage to catch the coach's attention, who I believe then tries to recruit him. I mean, imagine it would be a coach of a track team maybe, but Ghost has a lot of anger and a past that haunts him. So I guess it remains to be seen whether he can put all that behind him and take advantage of the opportunities that this coach is presenting to him. So yeah, been wanting to read this one for a while. So the next prompt is, read the backlist title that intimidates you the most. For this one, I'm going to go with Speak, and this is by Laurie Halsey Anderson. And the reason this intimidates me is because I know this is going to be a hard-hitting read. It's about a girl who is kind of an outcast because people are really pissed off at her for calling the police at a party that she was at. Well, as it turns out, I believe she was sexually abused at this party. And she got to the point where she doesn't even speak at all to anyone. So then from what I can gather from the synopsis, is the boy tries to attempt it again, and this time she breaks her silence. So yeah, it's won quite a few awards. I was also the finalist for quite a few awards, so it's supposed to be a very good novel. But yeah, as I mentioned, no doubt hard-hitting. Next up is, read a backlist title that was recommended to you by someone else. For this one, I'm going with Vengeful, written by V.E. Schwab. And many people actually recommended the Vicious and Vengeful duology to me. And I read the first one, Vicious, a while back, and I did talk about it already in this channel. And I've been meaning to get to this one for ages, and I just haven't had the opportunity yet. So this is a good excuse to. I keep forgetting about it. So hopefully I will get to this during the week of March 9th to the 15th. Oh, and as for the synopsis, well, I don't know about this one, but the first one followed two guys who experimented and ended up being able to give themselves superpowers. So then there was an act of betrayal, and the two of them became bitter enemies. And I'm talking about to the extreme, where they are out to destroy the other. And in the last book, they almost succeeded. So here is part 2, and Vengeful. So I imagine this will be, well, full of vengeance as well. So the next prompt is, read a diverse backlist title. And for this, I went with Love from A to Z, written by S.K. Ali. So this follows a Muslim girl who is in high school and who was actually expelled from school by calling out a teacher, a racist teacher actually, who kept making horrible remarks about Muslims in the class. So she's on her way to Qatar to visit her aunt, and she ends up meeting a boy named Adam, and I think he's either English or American. And Adam has his own issues, as he's just been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, but is keeping that diagnosis a secret from his grieving father. So these two met, and I imagine interesting things begin to happen, and I imagine there's some sort of connection between the two of them. So yeah, this has been also on my list for a while. I bought this last year, and I haven't had a chance to get to it yet, so hopefully this month I'll be able to. And the last prompt is, read a backlist title with blue on it. And for this one, I chose Mind Games, and this is written by Nancy Mail. And this follows a young woman named Kaylee Quinn, who is a FBI criminal profiler, and as it came out in a reporter's investigation, also the daughter of a famed serial killer. So this same reporter contacts Kaylee and tells her that He has just received an anonymous poem predicting a string of murders, with Kaylee being one of the victims. So Kaylee is then assigned to the case as she hunts down the serial killer. So yeah, this one I actually won in a Goodreads drawing, and so I feel bad I haven't gotten to it yet. So I'm going to hopefully remedy that this month. So that is a very ambitious TBR for the month of March. I'm not sure how many of the 5 books I'll be able to get to during the readathon, because these are the 5 books. These two are kind of small. I might be able to get through these in a day. Vengeful is going to take a little longer. And these two pretty average size, 300, 400 pages. So we'll see how I do. So how about you? What are you reading during the month of March? Let me know in the comments. Oh, and also, if you're interested in the readathon, you can just do a search on YouTube for Backlist Readathon, and there are actually 4 or 5 hosts that are collaborating on this together, so you can check out any of their channels. So again, March 9th through the 15th. So if you have some backlist books on your shelves that you would like to get to, this might be a good chance to do it. So that about does it. As always, I thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of your support. And if you like this video, please click the like button below, as that really helps my channel out. And that's it. I will talk to you all in the next video. Roger and out.